Have you ever feared of becoming obsolete? I mean, think about that. It's a scary thought. I know as I think of that word obsolete, well, it scares me a little, and it should. In this video, we're going to talk about the following: skill obsolescence, why leaders must learn or lose relevance. And in this brief video, what I want to talk to you about is the importance of staying relevant. If you don't stay relevant as a leader, that's going to open the door to irrelevance. Let's take a look at a couple things and review them together. First of all, let's begin with the problem. Notice what it says here at the center. Many leaders today face skill obsolescence, meaning their knowledge and abilities are becoming outdated. That is not a good word, outdated, especially in areas like AI, digital fluency, and strategic adaptability, leaving them less effective in guiding teams and making sound decisions. Let's go through these one at a time. First of all is the word in red, outdated. No one wants to be outdated. What happens when you have clothes that are outdated? Well, you usually give them away, you turn them into the Salvation Army or Goodwill or someone else who's in need. But if you keep them long enough, sometimes they come back in style. Well, leadership development and leadership skills are not exactly the same thing. If you don't stay current with your leadership development, if your team, if you're a leader or a manager or a director or even a business owner, and your team is not staying current or relevant, that's a huge problem, not only for you and your employees or your supervisors or your managers, but also for your clients. Because if your people become outdated, then their delivery systems become outdated, their conversations become outdated, and they lose relevance. Let's continue. It says, especially in areas like AI. AI, that's a scary two-letter word. It stands for artificial intelligence. And AI is not going anywhere. It reminds me of when the internet just started. Do you remember that? Well, it started off slow, and people said it was evil and it's going to destroy the world. Here's the reality: it's neither good nor bad, it's neutral. It's all about how we use it. AI is very much the same. How you use AI and how you leverage AI is really important. In one study I saw not too long ago, they said that over 60%, and that's a conservative number, over 60% of businesses today are looking into how to integrate AI in their business. For what reason? Well, to reduce costs, to maximize profitability, to make things more efficient in their operations, to increase their customer service excellence. All of these things are fantastic. But what happens when you, as the leader or your people, fear AI, or the next one, digital fluency? You are not tackling this, you're ignoring it, you're not learning about it, you're not reading any books. Well, that becomes a huge problem. But then we continue. It says, and strategic adaptability. You and I, as leaders, have to adapt. Your people have to constantly adapt in order to be relevant to your clients. This is not going away anytime soon. We have to adapt, we have to adjust, we have to function more like an organism than sometimes even an organization, meaning we have to go and move and adjust and pivot, sometimes very, very rapidly. And then the last part here says, leaving them less effective. So if you or your people remain outdated, if you fear AI, if you walk away from digital fluency, you stop learning, you stop adapting strategically to what is happening around you and the changes, then there's going to come a time very, very soon where you and your team will become less effective. And then it's not a matter of working harder, it's about working smarter. Smarter is the way to go. Let's finish this page. In guiding teams and making sound decisions. I know you as a leader, you want to make sound decisions with your team and for your team. But the problem is, if you and I remain outdated, stuck in the past, not learning, not adapting ourselves to the constant changes, not learning new skills, then we're going to fall behind. Well, I would even say we're already behind and we're at a loss even today. Why is this important? More specifically, why this matters. Notice what it says here. When we say the issue is critical, it means we have to attend to the person or attend to the matter right away. If not, it is going to suffer. Regarding a person, if they are in critical condition and they don't get the help they need quickly, they will eventually die. It says this issue is critical. Leaders who don't evolve, notice, lose effectiveness. So here's the question for you, and here's the question for your team and for the leaders in which you serve. Are you growing as a leader? Is your team developing in their leadership skills and their skills to serve their clients, your clients? If you're not evolving, if you're not growing, then you're going backwards and you're losing your effectiveness as an organization, as an individual, and as a team. It says here below, they fail to innovate, misread market shifts, and risk losing competitive edge, crippling their ability to lead in a rapidly shifting world. Many years ago, I was working for a Fortune 500 company. And if I would tell you the name, you would know it right away. And we were acquiring new companies, we were making gains. It was very, very significant. But what was happening, the market was changing, it was shifting. Our competitors were coming in and they were slowly, well, let me rephrase that. They were quickly but quietly gaining market share. We were losing focus of what was happening because we had our eyes elsewhere. And this is what happens when our thinking becomes outdated or irrelevant. We lose the main thing. And as a leader, you have to keep the main thing the main thing. What are the negative implications for you and I to thoughtfully consider? Here's the first one: decisions based on outdated assumptions. If you are not staying current, if you are not learning new skills as a leader, and if your team, if they are not learning new skills, what happens? Well, decisions are going to be based on outdated assumptions. They are going to be totally irrelevant for what your customer needs, not only today, but also in the future. Number two, reduce credibility with tech-savvy teams. You already know this. Everyone needs to grow in their understanding of technology. And the negative implications are your team is going to suffer loss in one way, shape, or form if they are not keeping up with technology as it relates to their area of responsibilities and how it can serve both the internal customer and also the external customer as well. And then finally, slower organizational responsiveness and innovation. One of the things we love about young, scrappy entrepreneurs is that they can move really, really fast. Yes, sometimes they are able to acquire large amounts of funding and that helps them move fast. But what we love about them is their agility and their ability to look into the future and go get it. They're not waiting, they're not moving slow, they are moving quickly. Well, notice this point here: slower organizational responsiveness and innovation. You as an entrepreneur, you as a business leader, or you as a leader or director in your organization, if you and your team are moving slow, it's going to negatively affect what you do, how you do it, and the results you realize. What's the cost of ignoring it? Because there is a cost of ignoring irrelevance, of ignoring the obsolescence, if you will. What is that cost? Well, Consider the cost of ignoring the obsolescence and where that is going to take you. Eroded professional confidence. One of the things that happens is when the technology and the culture and the speed of business is growing faster than what you or your team can actually keep up with, then confidence lacks. Number two, loss of credibility among peers, clients, and teams. Here's what I know as a fact: your competitors are growing in their knowledge of technology in other areas. Your clients are also growing in their knowledge of these areas. The question is, are you growing as a leader, and are your people growing as well? If they are not growing, guess what? Your competition has a competitive advantage. And if they are not growing, then your client has what? An advantage over you as a team and as an organization. Number three, decline in market share and profitability. Sometimes what we don't know, we don't know. And there are tools, there are skills for you and your team to learn. And if you don't learn these things, if you don't discover these things, then it's going to hurt you in the long run. If you need 10 people to do the same thing today as you did 20 years ago, you may need to look deeper into how technology and how different advances can really serve your team and help you to run more efficiently. And then we have number four, increased staff turnover as teams seek forward thinking leadership. Here's what we know: if you are not growing as a leader, the people on your team that are currently growing and thriving and exploring and learning new things and advancing in their professional development, they're going to find somewhere else to work. They're not going to work for a leader who is outdated for very long. They're not going to work for a leader who is stuck in the past for very long. They're going to look for leaders who are forward thinking, who are looking ahead, who are challenging themselves in new ways to grow professionally and personally. Let's take a look at a coaching solution. And I always like to bring things back to a coaching solution because these things are coachable. There is a solution. And as a certified professional coach, I often talk to clients about leveraging coaching as they serve their people and serve their teams. Let's take a look at a few examples of what we've talked about up to now in this video. Here's the first one. ICF competency number 7 states evokes awareness. That's what we're supposed to do as leaders. PCC marker 7.1. The coach asks questions about the client, such as their way of thinking, their way of feeling, their values, their needs, their wants, beliefs, or behavior. What am I talking about exactly? I'm glad you asked. Here's an example. What new skill could dramatically improve your decision making as a leader? That's a question for you. That's a question for your leaders as they lead others. But I want you to think about it for yourself. What new skill could dramatically improve your decision making as a leader? This is important for you to pause and consider. This is a coaching question. This is a question of leadership. Number 2, again, PCC marker 7.5 from our 7th competency evokes awareness. The coaches, leaders, they invite exploration of new ideas, beliefs, or ways of thinking. So here's an example that you can use in your business this week. Encouraging leaders to identify their own learning gaps. You're sitting with your team and you ask them, as we think about digital fluency, as we think about AI tools, as we think about strategic thinking, where are the gaps? And at that point, what I want you to do is remain silent. Ask them the question and remain silent. Where do you see the gaps in these 3 areas in our organization or in our team. And then put that on a whiteboard somewhere and talk about it and consider how could you close those gaps? Number three, ICF competency number 8 talks about facilitating client growth. And in this particular marker, 8.4, we learn the following as it relates to the coach. And I like to say, as it relates to the leader. Here we go. The coach partners with the client to design goals, actions, and accountability measures that integrate, notice, and expand. I love that. Integrate and expand new learning. So here's an example for your team. Co-creating a personalized upskilling roadmap of professional development. What do I mean? Well, your people want to grow. Your people need to grow. You, as the leader, you are responsible for helping them build a roadmap for their professional development. That doesn't mean you're going to have to hire a full-time trainer to train your people, but you're the one responsible to build out that framework to get them from where they are today to where they want to be. And I really want to encourage you. You don't have to spend hundreds and thousands of dollars to do this. You can do this very, very practically. You can buy them books. They can listen to podcasts. You can get coach training. You can do all kinds of things. But the important thing is that you give them a plan. Give them a way forward. Assess where are the gaps in AI? Where are the gaps, as we've already mentioned, in digital fluency and strategic thinking? How can your team grow in these three areas? As you consider these things, don't get discouraged. Listen, there's so much available out there for you to do. You can have a team meeting and you can purchase a webinar, for an example, a 1-hour webinar on the basics of AI. That will go a long way for your people because you start disarming these fears and you begin encouraging them and coaching them and training them on these things. Once again, what can you do to create an upskilling roadmap for your people, a framework for personal and professional development? That's my challenge to you. Lastly, how coaching resolves the issue. Number one, it creates awareness. As you think about coaching your team and asking these questions, it absolutely creates awareness with your team. Coaches ask insightful questions to highlight potential skill gaps. That's what I do as a professional coach. And that's what I encourage you to do as a leader, as someone who wants to grow and also empower others to grow. Number two, sparks personal insight. Leaders self-identify key areas to develop, increasing buy-in. That's our job as leaders. What are the areas we need to develop in? What resources can we give our people to grow and challenge them and help them to thrive? I remember many years ago, someone said to me, leaders are learners. When you stop learning, you stop leading. And how true that has become. Number three, builds a plan. Notice the flow. How coaching resolves the issue. You, as the leader, can coach your people. Number one, creates awareness. Number two, sparks personal insight. And number three, builds a plan. Your people need a plan to grow. You need a plan to grow. Together, as it says here below, coach and leader design realistic, measurable learning actions like weekly upskilling or peer learning sessions. It's very valuable after you have a team meeting, before you break and everyone goes on their way, to have a moment where you ask everyone in the room, what are you learning? What are you learning right now? These are questions that help evoke awareness in the individual, in the team member, in the leader of what is happening and what information they are acquiring. I want to encourage you as the leader to ask these questions at the end of your meeting. What are we learning? What have we learned? What progress are we making? These are things that capture the heart of your people. There are many benefits of coaching. You may know very much about coaching or very little, but let me give you just three: clarity, ownership, and confidence. Number one is clarity. Leaders see exactly what they need to learn and why. I want to encourage you to coach the people around you. As you coach the people around you and you ask them important, critical questions, they will have greater clarity on their responsibilities, on their priorities, on what is most important for them to do. The second is ownership. Ownership is important. It's not the same renting as owning a home. It says self-created goals lead to genuine motivation. What would happen if you challenged your people in these three areas: the strategic thinking and adaptability, the digital fluency, and the AI, and you asked them the question, what plan could you build to learn more about these three areas in the next 90 days? What could you do to help you grow in your professional knowledge, in education, as it relates to these three areas? And then let them work on a plan and coach them through it. And maybe you can help them to really put it all together and take action. Lastly is confidence. It says active progress builds leadership, courage, and influence. As you work with your team, you build courage. When people are learning, they are growing. Notice it says it builds leadership, courage, and influence. You're influencing them, and they have the ability to influence others. I'd like to extend to you an invitation. It says, I invite you to watch a free video: Why Top Leaders Are Becoming Certified Executive Coaches. And there are many who are starting to become certified executive coaches. The question is, why? Well, you have to watch the video to discover why. Learn how becoming a certified executive coach can help you build new leadership skills, empower more leaders, and change more lives. If you're interested in becoming a certified executive coach, or if you're just curious, how would this serve me as a leader? How would this serve my people? And how will it help us as an organization, or me as an entrepreneur, or as an individual, grow my influence, learn new leadership skills, and empower others more effectively? It says here below, all you have to do is click on the link in the description. You may have a description below, or you can go to imaginecoachingacademy.com/executive. And when you do that, you don't have to opt in or do anything like that. It's simply a free video for you to watch as my gift to you for watching this video. Thank you so much. I hope this has been an encouragement for you and for your team. Have a great day.